Okay, testing. Is it working? Yeah. So these 5 stances, even though they seem really basic, so probably say, well, I already did that before, but that's just memory, right? The whole premise of doing these fundamentals is to develop better transitions and timing. So when we do the movements, when you first learn it, you're just memorizing a bunch of movements. That's all you're doing. But you have to improve the stance work, the timing, the execution, the position. All of that stuff comes with time. So when you practice it, if you improve it here, then you're going to improve it everywhere it shows up that's the same movement. So for instance, when we start off, when we open here, you have to create your position, finish the punch, step through, finish the punch. So the hands and the feet end up working together. Here. Reverse. So that you have all these movements are in your forms. So if you do it for timing, then if by doing that in those 5 movements or 6 movements, when it shows up in your form, you'll have it. Your back fist, you'll have it. So, something like this where we set up for this, that's a setup. Not just for a punch, but the elbow. So that's what the training technique or the strategy is. So let's do first form. And same thing. It's sequence, but execution, right? When you lift up from here, you have to drop in your stance. That's a punch from 5 stances. So let's go from the beginning. Ready? Up. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we know basically, right? Watch mine to do a salute, right? 1, 2, 3. So we break it down because we have to know the position. And then he goes back. 1, 2, 3. So there's some timing and coordination. Then we speeds it up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So those are the pieces. When you blend it together, all those pieces have to become spontaneous, and then it just happens. So let's all do the form. Ready with the salute? So when do the first movement is what? This. So that's how we break it down. So when you go through a movement, once you start to blend it, we're like this. 1. So this goes, this goes. This goes, and then we're here, right? So we're here, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And sometimes when they perform, they might just do that because that's just, blending it and not necessarily just stepping through it. So that's is how you progress and change the imagery. So that's one of the things we do. And then if you're competing or performing, that's the kind of things that you have to sort of demonstrate or create as an imagery. Okay, ready? Let's do it with the salute. Ready, begin. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. High, low. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Squat down. Uppercut. Sliding step. Squat down. Elbow up. Cross hand. Cutting hand. Palm. Remove. Punch. Step to the back. Elbow. Back fist. Palm. Turn to high block. Crescent kick. Jump kick. Trap. Back fist. Remove. Punch. Set. step back and set it up. Chun Kyo, sliding step, palm. Scoop, press, kick, punch. 1, 2, 3. Sliding step, punch, turn, turn. 1, 2, 3. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale. So, when we throw a punch or we do a block, when we're first learning it, we try to get a basic understanding. But when we throw an uppercut, you don't want it too close. And you don't want it just to be the arm, because you're coming from here and you're lifting it up. So your body should be involved with that. If we're turning, then this really is what drives that. So those are part of the body mechanics. So when you throw a punch, make it look like a punch. When you block, make it appear like it's a real movement. Because if we just go through the movements like this, then it doesn't look like a martial art. It's because you're not training to create direction of force, movement. Right? So when we drive a movement and then squat down, that's what we call spirit or intent. So when you put some life into the movement, then it looks like you're executing with some kind of goal in mind. So the objective is, even though we don't scream a lot like some martial arts, on the physical side, we want it at least to look like we're doing something that's effective. When we're here, the elbow, you turn, you back fist. So every strike should have some focus and power. And the focus point for the movement is more precise as you progress and you're more advanced. Because meanwhile, when you do this, we don't know where it's going. So in other words, like if Minor throws a punch to here, your hand is doing this. Now whether I hit his arm with full force or not is one thing, but we have to know where that's going, right? If he throws a punch and I block, like this block, second form, and I elbow, you can see that the direction of my movement is going to his chest. When you're doing the form virtually, you hit your hand. You don't really know that it's hitting somebody else. But when you do this movement, and I do this, or I do this, you have to have that same intensity. That's what your intent is. That's why when we do a movement, say Chun Kyo, right, I block, sliding step, palm. I want to palm like I'm striking, right? Scoop, press. You have to kick and let it out. Don't kind of make it appear like you kicked. Because, if you're practicing like that and it's a reflex, I block his punch, right? And I scoop, he punches again, and I go like this. That's not going to do it, because that's what you train yourself to. So the body only will respond like that. So you have to block, scoop, kick. You don't hit your opponent, but you have to at least judge the distance. So if I was judging distance over here, 1, 2. Here I would reach. There I wouldn't. And then I punch. So we try to, each time, get the power to the end. Because if you're always stopping your movement, then that's what your body thinks it's supposed to do. So as a reflex, that's what it's going to do. That's what it's going to do. So we'd have to finish the movement of its second form. When you're doing your form, you have to finish it. So that's what, I try to get across, so you understand that when you're doing form, it's more than just running through the movements. Better to do the form one, really, effectively and good quality with the movement than to do it 100 times just going through the motions. Right? So that's what the focus is. So let's try that form one more time with intensity, then we'll move on, because this will translate into how you do all your other forms. Okay, ready? Begin. Up. Go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. Down. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Elbow. Back fist. Palm. High block. 1, 2, 3. Remove. Punch. Step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So, you know, a lot of times it's from watching or seeing some of your teachers, or to pick up the imagery, because we learn visually. Then you have to understand it, you interpret it, then you try to reproduce it. So you learn through assimilation and recognition. You have to recognize what you see, and then you do it. Now, some people can do that automatically. Some people have a little trouble with it, but it's frequency of doing it. So let's do second form this time. Okay. Rose, you want to come here? You can actually, yeah, they got to the end, so just a little more repetition and you can get to it. Okay, let's do second form through the count. And then ready, and so pick up some of the execution strategy by working together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Kick. Let it out. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Elbow. Boom. Strike. Back fist. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and close. Okay, good. Deep breathing. So one of the things is that while we learn numerous forms and we think learning more form is progression, but it's a progression of memory. So it improves your memory and the strategy of learning, because you begin to recognize the blocks, the positions, and a lot of them are fundamentals. But then the real difference is your execution, the timing, the direction of your movement, the stance work. All of that starts to formulate in your positions. So I'm going to have Rose do the second form, and she's competed with this and she's performed. So everybody watch, because we learn from watching, and then look for timing, look for stance work, look for right and left side coordination, the hands working together. Look for the legs tying to the hands. So when we say upper-lower coordination, the arms and the legs work as a relationship. When you sink in the stance, when you sink, when you lift, everything should finish essentially at a point. So that timing is what really changes the most as far as quality of motion. So, and to do that, you actually have to capture the movements by recruiting your musculature to move your skeleton, right? So what does that? It's your brain. What your brain tells it. But if the brain doesn't know it, the body's not going to do it. So that strategy of learning comes from repetition. But then you have to see the execution to know that you can move like that. And then you start to build what we call imagery. Imagery is just capturing like a photograph or video. It's an image. Still shots, you see final positions. Transitional imagery, you see motion. And motion, when it's coordinated, then you see that there's skill. So let's watch her, and then we'll try to do what she does the next form after she does it. Okay, ready? And I'm not going to count. She's just going to kind of go through it. Ready? Go. So you look where the punches are going, where the palm goes. Those are all parts of aligning of the body, the twisting, the turning, the spine, the shoulders. All of this, you look at the whole body. Look at the feet, the hands, because it's moving as a unit. If you look only at the hands, which is what you look at in the beginning, because that's what we're learning, the hand movements, then you have to you'll miss the legs. Now you have to look at the legs. You have to look at the coordination, the balance, the power, direction of force. The chopping has strength, right? And it's just so it's timing, right? Good. Okay. So we can all do this if we have the same goal. If we know what the goal is, we won't try to do that if we think what we're doing is okay or acceptable. So in order to evolve, you have to actually take it to that next level of understanding. And it's just something that happens over time. But it's like, you're growing up into the form, but you're also getting more mature as your thought evolves. So let's all do it together. Again, maybe Rose can take a break because she can watch, see how they did, and say, make a couple of comments. Okay, ready? Try to stay together. You don't have to blaze through it, but do the timing the best you can, and then we'll see if we can help you out. Ready? Go. Okay, continue. Chun Kyo. Sliding step punch. Elbow. Dropping palm. Chop. Elbow. Drop down. Back fist. So what do you think? Anything you see that could use a little bit of work?
Yeah, I think in the salute, people tend to lose structure here. I see a lot of like this when you're closing up. Blah, blah, blah.
Uh-huh.
I'll just do it. This, when
Yeah.
Or they can't just fall in like this.
So that's so don't rush through it, because when you rush through it, you don't put enough finishing touch to them. It's like crossing your T's and dotting the I's. If you rush through it, then it gets sloppy, right? That's like how penmanship is. When you do your move, finish it. And if you finish it, and that's what in Tai Chi I call the proprioceptive part of the training, because proprioception is knowing yourself in space, but at the same time, you heighten the awareness because each of the joints have a sensor in it that tells you that this is okay, but if it's always kind of not there, then the joint doesn't get the response and your muscles won't respond. Because, while we think it's this magical, mystical thing, it's really the physiology of our body that kind of determines how our movements are going to be. The timing, the position. So if you thrust at the end, if you don't finish that thrust to this point, then is it supposed to be there, or there? That's in this position. But then if I go into a stance and it's kind of there, and then I do this, there's no connection to the stance. So when we thrust, and you look at this leg, while this extends, because the movement is driven from there. Now you don't want to rush the hand and forget the leg, because if you rush the hand and you think your leg's going to straighten, it doesn't happen because the hand's too fast. But if you drive the movement from here, then you don't have to rely on this being as fast as you think it's supposed to be. So the other thing is when you throw a punch, when you turn, we look at the punch coming out fast, but it's not the punch that's fast, it's the turning that's fast. What's turning? Your shoulders, your feet, and your waist. So if those turn fast and the arm is going out, then it's that sudden motion that really creates the action to finish that. That happens there. Now here, it turns this way. Here, it turns that way. So the faster this turns, the faster this goes out. The faster this turns, the faster that goes out. So with the elbow, because it's rotating, it's not how fast I get this over there, it's how fast it's to here. Right? So if I'm doing the elbow, it's not how fast I can do that, it's how fast I can do that. This whole thing, the whole structure has to move forward. That's how we develop power. So because we've been doing these forms for a while, we have to understand, how do we get that to happen? And it's just understanding the bodies involved. Okay, so let's try that. Let's go to the third form, because every form has its uniqueness. Form for memory and form for picking up some of the different executions. Yep. Yep.
Do you develop power in stances and postures through relaxation? In other words, if you tense up,
You
want to do that, you fight yourself.
Yeah. So you can't develop transition or movement with tension. When power comes from the timing of the summation of those actions. So if I do this, I can do it. But if I do this, then there's a summation of that action that creates that. So to do movement, you first have to balance motion and the action and the intent. Because the mind says do this and it does it, but the mind says do this and you never did it, is not going to happen. So throwing a punch, as basic as it is, the better you throw the punch, the better it's going to be, in your form, because you know the basic timing to extend your arm. But if you're throwing a punch and you're turning over too soon, then it looks like that. And you can see that doesn't look like a good punch, right? So you have to keep your elbow down. You have to turn it at the very end. So when you throw your punch, make sure you turn at the very end. And when you throw a kick, right? When you throw a kick, make sure you let it go. The reason why we snap our kick is just like we throw a punch. We don't want to leave the strength here and it doesn't project outward. Because the whole premise of any sport that has to hit a target even though there's an imaginary target, you have to follow through. It's like hitting a golf ball. If you hold it, it's not going to go. Or you throw a ball. If you don't follow through, then the ball doesn't have any speed to it. So you have to follow through. You throw a punch. If you relax and then execute, so throughout the motion, it's really a balance in motion. But the first thing you have to do is get rid of the tension. And don't put on the brakes. You know what I mean by put on the brakes? That's putting on the brakes. Everything is stopped here, so the power never reaches there. If you throw a kick and you go, that's putting on the brakes. You have to let go. So putting on the brakes stops the wheel from turning. But when you let the wheel flow freely, then it transitions and it can be faster and faster if something is driving it. But if you're stepping on the gas and you have your brake on it, what happens? It negates the power, the transition, the speed. It takes it away. So your body's working like that. Don't put the brakes on. Okay, so let's try third form. Ready? Okay. You want to form one line? We can form two lines. Yeah. Rose, you can stand here. Okay, good. Right here is good. So this is more of a agility form, but we just go through it. Ready? So we're here. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, lunge. Step through. Grab. Punch. Elbow. Back fist. Turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Grab. Pull. Push. Elbow. Elbow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Kick. Slice. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Elbow. 1, 2, 3. 1. Sweep. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Lunge. Lunge. Turn. Sing. Turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. Deep breathing. Okay. So we'll shift over here. Let's do fourth form. Then we can get through all of these for review, and then because every form, we could go through it and then spend hours on just two movements, but sequentially we have to get through it just for recall. Okay, fourth form, ready? Remember anything, Mike, in this one? You finish it? You finished it. You finished fourth form, right? Okay, all right. Okay, ready? Yeah. Want to come up? Oh, Max, you can come up. You can come up here. Yeah. Okay, ready? You can just spread out. Okay, begin. Up. Go. Take your time. Oh, sorry. Hold your positions. Thrust. Sink. Turn. 1, 2, 3. 1. Trap. Turn. Cut. Palm. Punch. 1, 2. step, turn. Good. Deep breathing. So, one of the things is when we run through forms, we're not particularly sure what the power movement is and what we're trying to do, but it's pretty obvious with a punch. We know we're trying to throw a punch. But an uppercut, it's like a lift. So if you're swinging your arms up like this, so let's try this. Everybody try this, right? So when you get to the end of the movement, just tense it a little bit. Let it focus and finish. Because a movement like this, it's not all positions are the same. Like when we go like this and we pull in, that's a position like this. So we pulled in, right? When you uppercut, you're like this. So if it's like this. If you ever been bowling before? You ever bowl? Ever been bowling? And you take so many steps and you go, right? That's the motion. So motion like this is from the back to the front. So when you throw an uppercut, you want to come from here and come up, because that's the direction of your movement. So you want to put something into that, right? When you strike across and you come to this position, like in the second form, and you go like this, that's from this point to that point, it just draws a line. But you have to turn in order for your arm to focus on that strike, because that's every individual movement in the form has intensity. So my hand is like this and her punch comes and I want to strike down on it with intensity. I have to free fall it and drop right into her arm, and that produces power. But you're not going to do that to a training partner, because you're going to hurt each other. In your form, it will counterbalance itself by finishing and releasing the power there. The next one is a lift. So the power is here. This is a rise. So that's a lift. So you can see this is lifting and this is pushing. So whenever that happens, you have that. When you're here, the power side is this. So you're turning and you're thrusting your palm. So your hand has to go like this. It goes as the hand folds at the end. Now, one mistake a lot of people make is they fold it first and try to push with that. But then what happens? Once you fold this first, you already tensed up your arm. So it's not going to allow that to happen. So because the movements are coming from here in your body, you have to relax the body and the arm and then finish it at the end. So when you throw a palm strike, make sure you relax the hand and then finish at the end. So that's, knowing that the movement will come and is driven from your torso, from the spine. Because when you turn, the waist is a circle. So your power comes from your waist. This actually, well, you say, well, I'm not turning, but what it is you're lifting. Because you're lifting, right? What helps you lift? It's your back. Your back helps you lift, right? You want to pick up a box or do a bunch of curls or curling a bar with two, when your both hands are attached, you do this. But actually, you just can't do this because if you just did this, you'd tip over. Because if there's weight in the front, it's going to pull you forward. So what do? You tense your back. That gives you a certain amount of rigidity. But the thing is, live movement doesn't allow you to do this. It allows you to do this. So the movement involves the back in the lift. So in a sense, when we're lifting like this, you're keeping your body, and your body's as if it's producing that motion. So movements compatible with direction is understanding that. Compatible movement, you're understanding that because you're lifting and you're rising. And then we're projecting forward. So that's a multi-dimensional movement where this hand goes up and this hand goes out. So I have two-dimensional movement, lifting and twisting, right? Sinking and turning. Turning and that's drilling actually. The hands are turning like that. So these are all concepts, but as you progress, you understand these ideas, it actually will help your practice in the sense that you know why you would be doing a certain move in a certain way. So let's go from there to gung kuen. Okay, so everything that I'm mentioning is in some of the other forms too. So it's sort of like cross training. Okay, let's do gung kuen, then we'll do sixth form because I know you guys are kind of interested in doing it in Belmont, right? Jekun, right? Then we'll take a look at that and we'll see, what we can do to improve that. Okay, ready? Do gung kuen. Mike, do it as far as you can, right? Yeah. Okay, ready? Gung kuen, begin. Up. Slowly together. elbow, roll, back fist, whoop, back fist, host it, yeah, butterfly, push, set it up, no, chin kill. Oh, that's fourth way. Yeah. Slide and set punch, and close. Okay, deep breathing. So Gung Kuen is a fundamental form. It's one of the older forms that we have that came from the Shaolin temple or from the Buddhist era. But the thing is, you notice this form is one of the few forms that works both sides. So that's pretty unique in any system. Most systems are kind of right side dominant. The power side is always on the right side because the traditional Chinese culture would really, like any of the other cultures, only wanted righties. But today it's acceptable to have lefties too, right? But the thing is, they didn't know it was just part of getting people to always do things on the right. But regardless of that, forms when we do them, because they were developed back in those days, a lot of stuff is done as a power side on the right, and the other side is kind of your secondary hand. But we know that you practice both sides, or you learn it. Eventually, you learn both sides. You have to have two sides. You just can't throw good punches on one side, because then you're like that, right? So in self-defense, you might only need one power side. But in training, to balance your body, to balance your brain, you have to actually, work it so that you can develop both sides of your body. And they also know from, visualization and even someone injured on one side, if you continue to visualize a movement, you don't lose 100% of that motor skill on the other side. So when we're doing things, especially like Gung Kuen, we're actually doing both sides. Right? This is really doing, basically, as a fundamental, a cross hand to a middle block, a cross hand to a cutting hand, a cover. So you say, well, those are, in a stationary position, they're easy to do. That's why in Gung Kuen it is so basic. But yet, this cover hand is so important. If I go like this, just pressing. Or if I go like this, it's just a middle block. But your hands actually will work like that. Because if she throws a punch to the middle, and she throws it to here, right? And then she throws it again toward the chest, that's all your hands are doing, right? If I'm here, there's a cut. She throws a punch to here, right? This is here. She throws again, that's there. So every time your hand moves, it's going to intercept something that comes at you, and you don't know where it's coming from. So your hands just have to do that. So you learn by programming those movements into the body as action, and then if you have to draw off action, then it's kind of already formatted a bit. But if you do it for a long time, it becomes a reflex. So that's sort of the strategy. When you guys spar, you see the timing, but this hand is so important. You don't want to do this. You want to protect here. So when you're here, or when you're here, the hand's always in a position. As simple as that is, it has to be in your body. You have to embody it, right? So that's why we do things over and over and over and over. 1, 2, 3. Because you have to get used to doing it. At the beginning, you're pulling back like this, but actually you're just dropping your elbow. So first line of defense, if your hand is here, if my hand is like this and she punches here, I just have to drop my elbow. That's all I have to do. Because if I drop my elbow, I'm so close to this that's all I have to do. So that's the action. But we don't pay attention to that because we don't really understand that. We're just doing 20 punches. We pay attention to that this is being pumped out there pretty fast. But the faster you throw that punch out, the faster your elbow's going to drop. So the faster the elbow drops, the faster you can respond. Right? Boom, boom, boom. Right? I'm here, boom, boom. See, chill and circular movement. This is it. This is it. So she throws a punch, right? That's all. So your back fist is that. But you have to pay attention to your movement so you understand, what the action is and the pattern. All right, let's do 6 form. I know, Mike, you haven't gone through this, but we're going to run through it. Go through Gung Kuen again on your own, and then okay, ready? Let's go through 6 form. Let's see how it looks. Follow rows, and let's see. Then we'll see you do it afterwards. Okay, ready? Begin. I'll do it to the count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. Deep breathing. Okay, so in this form, it's completely different from what we do in traditional Hung Gar, because Hung Gar's southern, that's actually northern form, right? Northern style, because of kicking and. But this is important when you land in your stance, that your punch is going to come out just like we punch like this. You want your body to turn like this. So this is here. This is here. So when you throw your punch, get it from here or here. So you're here, right? So you're going to turn and punch. Drop it down here. So this way you practice turning your waist so your fist doesn't end up looking like this. See what I mean? You're not striking like this, you're driving it like that. Okay. Now we have this, like in the third form, we go like this, right? We go 1, 2. So this is the same thing. When we drop down and then we dig up like this, you want to turn out, and then this body form should be pushing like this. If we press down like this, 2, 3, 4. So we have to turn our torso, because the alignment of the movement is this. So sequentially, it's okay. You just have to improve the timing on that. So let's just do the opening. This movement, right? So this comes across. This comes up. This hooks like this, and this does that. So between here, this is in front of the shoulder. This is behind like this. And your body should lift. So you have to have spirit in your movement. So when you turn and you drop down, you lift up. When you lift up and the hand does this, then you have to drop in your stance. So when the hand goes up, you have to settle in your stance. So that's creating the imagery of your position. So when you're in your position, go. Turn your body more. See, because movements are across. Turn, turn, turn. Create that position. That's the position that opens the form. Okay, ready? So everybody can try this. Even though in the form we're here and we're turning like this, that's your footwork. But the basic motion, you have to create the body form like that. 1, 2, 2, 3. Because form is functional, but form also is artistic. So the artistic side of it is creating the imagery and position. So what's artistic? The alignment of your body, how it looks as an image. Because we have hand, eye, body, waist, and stance. Hand and eye coordination. The eye follows the hand. Then you have your position. When you're here, you fold, right? Then you open, turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So the timing, kicking, and the footwork is what we have to build into movement. So when we're here, your foot, see, we're here. Just for instance, we're here. Then we're going to punch. Then we kick, hop, and then create that. So you create this. So here, this should be like this, right? And put this foot here a little bit. So the timing is to lean, just like in the second form, we do this. This is just like this, right? So here. So once we're here, we have to draw and then turn. But your body has to sink. So it's here. And you have something here. So a little bit fold here to sink. Just those two movements, because if you look in the mirror together, right, we're here. We just kick 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now you have to kick. The kick and punch have to go together. Now here, boom. Then here. So this one and this one is the same. And then you punch. Kick up, free swing, down. Punch, lift up, turn. Okay, so yeah. Okay, let's do it again. Let's do it that way, this way. Okay, from the beginning. Let's go like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay, open. Turn. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Up, down, lift. Punch. Turn. Punch. Punch. Hold that punch. So this is what's important, the final position. Horse stance. And you have to land, sink, good fist. Hold your position. Ready? 1. Hop. So when you hop, do this. After you kick, you're going to hop. And then go down. So, yeah. So let's do that sweep again. From here. 1, 2, 3, kick, hop. So this back foot, do that again. So after you kick, this one, hop. Then go down. Okay, then go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, twist. 1, 2, 3, twist. So, okay, let's do it again. Turn. 1, 2, 3, hop. Turn. 2, 3. So turn, twist. Let's try again, twist. See the, start from here. and push. Again, push. Yeah. Extend, but don't let it go. 1. Okay, good, like that. But now, from here. Turn. Yeah. Turn. Yeah, focus your thumb. Then that gives you strength there. Right. So all of these little things, focus your movement. All right, next 1. So from here, let's do 1, 2, kick and punch, hop and punch. Then go. 1, jump kick, down, go. 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, when you push forward, do it again. We're coming around. You push your body, extend, step, open the chest, step, kick, down. Okay, now when you sweep, don't touch the floor. Try not to touch the floor. Sweep. Okay, so okay, now step up and punch. Step up and punch. 1 more. Come to here. So the punch come through your center. See, 1, 2, 1, 2. Turn. Crescent kick to the hand. Jump kick. Twist. Tornado kick. And punch. Close. Okay, so the sweep, the tornado kick, all of those can be done separately to improve on those, but the sweep needs work, but you do a sweep, Rose? Back. Lawrence? It should be low, anyways. Yeah. Down, sweep. Okay, step up, keep it on. Punch, step up, punch, turn. Crescent kick, jump kick. Twist and punch, turn. Yeah. So, when a tornado kick, the way they practice it is you have to do them over and over again until you. So essentially what is a crescent kick? It's one outside and then this one comes around like that. But you're doing it in the air. So, Lawrence, you want to do one? See. So it requires stretching, flexibility. But before you can do it in the air, you have to be able to do it on the ground, right? So inside crescent kick, let's all go like this. Like just do the outside crescent kick, or inside crescent kick. So you cross your body. Ready, go. 2, 3. So she's doing a stationary position. Do it with stepping. Okay, outside crescent kick. Yeah. Yeah. So outside crescent kick should come from your hip. So when you're first doing it, use your thigh muscle to lift it up, and then bring it around, and then this. So this muscle has to be worked, and then the jumping. You practice your jump. You have to jump. You get your knee up. Get your knee up, and then eventually you project upward, not forward, upward, and then we'll have to build off of that. So okay. So we got a bit of work to do, but a lot of fundamentals. Okay, ready? Bow. Salute. Okay.